Hello everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope doing well, and today I'll be doing a review of the Akira Kurosawa film Kagemusha, which I think I am pronouncing correctly. If I am not, I apologize. But before going any further into the review, please be sure to smash the like button, light up that fire button, and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. And also, if you want more information about me and how to follow me on social media and other platforms, check out my website at ombreviews.com. So, Kagemusha is a 1980 film made by Akira Kurosawa, directed, produced, written in part, and also edited by Akira Kurosawa. So I'm once again going into a film. It's been a while since I've seen a Kurosawa movie because I've been on my samurai kick as of recently. I've been watching a lot of the Zatoichi franchise. I watched the first of the Lone Wolf and Cub films and have seen a bunch of other films set in this time in history as well. This, as it says, jidaigeki film, which again typically is when it's set during a certain period in time. Again, it's a genre of period dramas. This is an epic film. It's a 3-hour epic film. And let me just get a lot of the positives out of the way first. Of course, just like every single Kurosawa movie, this has a really well done, well written screenplay. A lot of the events that happen very well. Things flow together very well. All of the characters also are given great introductions. One of my favorite sequences is actually the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, because you actually have the main character played by Tatsuya Nakadai, who again is an amazing actor here, talking to himself. So he actually plays two different characters in the movie, and he does a brilliant job at that to boot. And so it was really awesome just to have that opening sequence when he is, and just in 1980, when they're still shooting on film, and when a lot of filming techniques are still very much being developed, how they were able to make it work, and also how they use lighting, because what they had was they had 3 different characters in that scene, and every single one of them had a candle lighting their specific area. And I think using that lighting probably definitely helped in the editing process to give that illusion of them all being in the same room at the same time. It really was just seriously a fantastic thing to see as such. And so, as you can see here, Nakadai played not only Takeda, who was the Lord here, who eventually passes away, but also was the one who played Kagemusha, who was, as it says there, the shadow warrior, the one who is standing in the place, because basically the basic premise of the film is that in the movie there is this lord. He gets injured, and as he is injured, he tells all of his lords that once he dies, he wants it to be kept secret for 3 years, so that way his empire can be retained. That way they can keep control of the lands that they have, that they should not go out and attack anybody. But just like him being a mountain, this concept of being the mountain, being unmoved, is very important throughout the entire film. It's a very large theme in the film, and he wants that to continue on after the fact. And of course, a big part of that is by having someone who will be there to essentially impersonate, or to try and hide it from him, or rather try to hide it from the people. And this is what leads to his brother actually finding someone who looks exactly like him, saying this is something that actually could very much help with this last thing, this last will, this last decision that you have before your potential death. And obviously the guy, he does not believe that he's going to die. He says, I might be wounded, and this is just an if, but I don't think I am going to die. I think that I am going to be fine. It says that here that this is based on Takeda Shingen, and the film ends with the climactic 1575 Battle of Nagashino. So it looks like this is based during a certain part of history. It might have some historical prevalence to it as well. And it is just really interesting to see those dynamics played out, with Nakadai playing 2 different characters who are all meant to be the same person, but also the personalities there as well, because it's obviously something that's a very interesting thing always to see when you have the same actor playing what's supposed to be the same character, but obviously being two different people and the different personalities that come out to play. Because the guy here, the Shadow Warrior, the Kagemusha, is one who was a peasant, so he was lowborn, and so he has no idea really what it means to be a lord, let alone what it means to be a true vassal to a lord. And so he has a lot to learn, and he ends up doing a very good job. Eventually, though, as the film goes on, he gets a little bit too overconfident in himself, and it gives away the facade about halfway through the 3 years that the late Lord had wanted them to hold on to power and to try and perceive as if he had survived and had lived. By trying to ride the Lord's horse, because even though he was able to, convince and trick humans and even trick a small child, his grandson, even though he was able to trick them, he was not able to trick the horse, of which only the late Lord Shingen, again, I'm terrible with these pronunciations, could actually ride. And so this film has a really great screenplay. Everything is very well written. All of the characters make sense. All the character development also works very well too. The direction, of course, is fantastic. The acting, of course, which is really led strong by Tatsuya Nakadai, I think does an amazing job here. But I gotta give also to give kudos here to some of the other characters. Let's see, it's Tsusumu Yamazaki. I thought that also he did a very good job here playing the brother, and I believe this was the character who had at many points even stood in to be a fake representation of the Lord when the Lord was still alive. So basically, this was a Lord who was known for using decoys, who was known for using fake. It reminded me a little bit of that, Star Wars prequels, where Queen Amidala would oftentimes use decoys, would oftentimes use doubles in that way to try and trick people. And so this Lord at this time does the same thing, and even does it with his brother. But even his brother is not able to convince a lot of the other people, unlike this peasant who they found, who looks just like their Lord. And so I did want to give a shout out to him, because I thought he also did a fantastic job. And also the makeup team and production design were fantastic as well. I mean, I always love seeing Akira Kurosawa working with these teams, because he really is able to bring this certain period of time to life. It always looks very real. It feels authentic. The use of especially extras in some of these major battle sequences is truly tremendous. The camera work in this film also is pretty fantastic as well. And I will say, as far as any negatives are concerned, it is a 3-hour film. And unlike some other longer films, I think this movie, you can definitely feel the length of the movie. It took me a long time to actually get through the movie. It took me several days, not just, of course, because it was, several hours long, but also as being stay-at-home dad for the summer, trying to work with baby Thor's schedule. I had to kind of, see it in bits and pieces. And obviously that definitely, I think, made it feel longer than what it was, and so I could very much have been biased or affected by that. However, I do think that in the editing process, there was this length that was brought into it, which is, again, both a good and a bad thing, because it led to these really long, well-done sequences, but at the same time, it also felt like the movie was moving at a much slower pace. Not a whole lot was going on screen. A lot of it was character driven, and a lot of it was character design, and focused on character design and the production design and all the visuals of what you were seeing, which I personally, as a film lover, always appreciate. I always love when directors focus more so on said visuals. But I definitely think that there are a lot of people who might watch this movie and think, man, I can really feel these 3 hours, and man, I really think that this thing drags. However, even with that being said, I still think that this is a fantastic movie. I think that the acting by Nakadai, of course, carries the entire film. The production design on this thing is so just incredibly amazing. I mean, if you just look at that poster in the right-hand corner, everything just looks really great. The use of lighting is very great too, especially, as I said, in that opening sequence, the use of those candles in a way of try to separate the actor from making it look so authentic and so real of them being in the same room. At no point does it look like in that artificial sense. In a lot of even modern films today, when you have an actor playing the same actor playing different characters and they're in the same room together, there's this artificial feel that it has to it. The fact that they were able to do that and not have it feel that way, I think was very well done. And I think their use of lighting definitely helped with them in that same process. And one last thing I will also say is that I do very much appreciate the fact that Akira Kurosawa did the editing to this film. Once again, it says here that it's unaccredited editing, but Kurosawa was often listed as an editor on his films, and it always amazes me whenever a filmmaker is able to take such a major role in not just the writing, but the direction, the production, and also the editing of their film. Kurosawa truly was a masterclass when it comes to filmmaking, and I think that that's why so many people have been inspired by his works, and I think that a lot of modern-day filmmakers should probably go back and watch a lot of the films that he has done to be inspired by what he has done, because it really is pretty fantastic. This is a movie that is available on the Criterion Collection, so if you ever wanted to buy it for yourself, it is available on the Criterion Collection Blu-ray. However, it is not currently available on the Criterion channel. Something tells me it has something to do with rights distributions, because while most of Kurosawa's films were produced by and put out by Toho, this was also put out by Kurosawa Production. As far as the distribution goes, it was not only put out by Toho, it was also put out by 20th Century Fox for its international release. And something tells me that that probably had something to do with the fact as to why it is not available, potentially not available, on the Criterion channel streaming service at this point in time. But also, I did get sent an extra one of these when I was buying it from Amazon, and so be on the lookout for a potential giveaway of Kagemusha in the future. So if I had to give this film a grade, I'd give it an A-, and the only reason why it's not a solid A for me is just because it is a little bit on the long side, and there are just a couple of moments in the movie that I think there's a couple of, I guess you could say, that's not necessarily like mistakes, but there's things that I noticed where I was like, I don't know quite about that decision. There was like a couple of edits where it's clear that they recut the same footage. Like there's one scene where there are horses that are galloping, and then all of a sudden you see a cut which seems to show the same exact sequence again trying to convey the the numbers of the soldiers, the numbers of the people on horseback being more and more and more, but that kind of edit and cut being there, I thought was a bit distracting for my taste. But again, very minor nitpick there in the end, but very fantastic, solid film. A-, highly recommend it. But anyway, have you seen Kagemusha? Please let me know in the comment section below, especially that pinned comment, and of course be continuing to make fun of my pronunciation. If you like this video, smash that like button, light up that fire button if you're watching over on Odyssey, and please also be sure to share this video, as these videos tend not to do nearly as well, and that's totally okay. But if you know people that are big fans of Kurosawa, or people who you think might be interested in Kurosawa, or people that you think might be inspired by this review to get into Kurosawa, please consider sharing this video. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, God bless. Now for a huge shout out to all of my June Patreon and Subscribestar members: Andrew Hoyle, Biffer the Hobbit, Brian P., Dion, Don Bruno de la Mancha, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Carney, Laura the Modern Major General's Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Priscilla Hall, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, and rather Teresa Martin is Miss Martin Muses now, Tina Bojan, Tina B., and Washington Madranda. Thank y'all very much for being my supporters on Patreon. And to my Subscribestar peeps: Fast Reaction, Nosferatu Gatsu, Stand For, John B., Perpetual Punster, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / The New Number 2, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Nevanon G. Adams, and ZK Man. Thank you all very much for being my Subscribestar members, and if you want your name shouted out at the end of every video and live stream, please consider joining on Patreon or Subscribestar. You also get access at other tiers to things like a bi-monthly podcast, bi-weekly, twice a month podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger, which is a lot of fun. There's also a tier in which you can join me once a month for the Chosen of Valhalla live stream, where you all get to, at that level, join me for discussions, talk about any projects that you might be working on, or just hang out and have a good time. It's a lot of fun. And also, too, for many of those levels, you also get access to a giveaway section on the Discord server, where you get access to giveaways of things like 4K movies, digital codes, and tons of other stuff like that. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, check out the links in the description and sign up over on Patreon and Subscribestar. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.